All right, new video showing a man tased nearly a dozen times in an Arizona parking lot. That man, Johnny Wheatcroft, is accusing the officers who arrested him of torture. Now, I want to warn you, the video is very graphic. Children should not be in the room when you watch this. He is suing the Glendale Police Department over the 2017 encounter in July. His lawyer says the surveillance video, which was recently released, speaks for itself.
Relax. Keep your foot in there.
Okay, stop, please. I didn't do anything wrong, man.
Here's the deal. You tense up, I'm gonna... Listen to me. Listen to me.
I understand.
Listen to me.
But I
Okay.
promise you I didn't step
We're
on
gonna do
my
this.
Okay?
Okay,
And
well,
don't
I
have
just
to get
watched
mad.
you.
No, you didn't, sir.
You...
No, you
Okay.
didn't. Ow, ow.
Listen.
Stop, Ow,
He's
please,
gonna
man.
fight, dude.
No, I'm not, bro. Ow, please
Just
stop.
wait.
I'm not
Okay,
fighting.
relax.
I'm doing nothing, man. I'm not doing nothing, bro.
I'm tell you right now, you're gonna continue.
Ow, man, what the f is wrong with you?
Relax.
I am, dude. Ow, stop, mother.
Wheatcroft spent months in jail on assault charges. In a statement to CNN, Glendale police say Wheatcroft reached below the seat into a backpack and refused to identify himself or obey the officer's instructions to stop. They said for their safety and for the safety of the children in the back seat with a mother, the officers tried to remove Wheatcroft from the vehicle. The statement goes on to say that they tried to detain Mr. Wheatcroft. The woman hit one of the officers in the head with a bag of bottled drinks, knocking him unconscious. And that's when officers decided to deploy a taser to regain control of the situation. In the statement, they said methamphetamines were later found in the vehicle. All right, back to our big story this morning. Shocking video showing a man tased by police nearly a dozen times. That man, Johnny Wheatcroft, is now suing the Glendale Police Department. He's accusing them of torture. Let's bring in our legal analyst and contributor, Joey Jackson. Joey, thank you so much for joining us. Listen, you've seen the video. I'm sort of curious, does he have a lawsuit against the department?
Good morning, Elizabeth. This is appalling, to say the least. And now, to be clear, police have a very difficult job. I get that. I understand that. My father was a police officer, lived with, obviously some of the stress, emotion, and the tension that goes in the job. But what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. To the heart of your question, he absolutely has a case here, and I just think it's a force that is excessive, inappropriate, and indeed unlawful. And when I say unlawful, police, they have a badge, they are there to serve and protect us, but when they cross the line, I think there should be a basis for their prosecution as well. Police are also trained at de-escalating situations. Sometimes kindness goes a long way at doing that. How about CERB, license, registration, whatever? No, you're not driving, I just have to get to it. Sometimes people knowing they don't have to produce it because there's no basis for producing it. I always say, Elizabeth, comply now, grieve later, but people will push back. But police are trained when people do push back to de-escalate, not get out of the car, tase. And let's not forget, there are children here, right? 11-year-old, a 6-year-old who had to endure this. They're saying, no, don't do this to my daddy. This is inappropriate in so many ways. I think that he'll be paid and paid in full.
Okay, I want to play devil's advocate because just like you said, there were children in the car. Police cite that in their statement. They said that they didn't feel safe, that they were worried about the children's safety. They said that there was methamphetamines found in the car. In fact, there was a female in the back of the vehicle who allegedly knocked a police officer unconscious. So did they not have a choice? Can they defend themselves and say they acted really measured?
So let me address that point by point. And so in terms of police officers being unsafe, really, was there ever an indication, or would any juror who evaluates his videotape have any belief that the officers felt unsafe at the time? Number two, officers, again, are absolutely trained to de-escalate a situation, not escalate it. You ask yourself, was the force the officers used proportionate to any threat posed? And if the question to that in anybody's mind is yes, then I would ask someone to identify what specific force did the passenger use such that it was felt by the officer, not that only physical force needed to be used by the officer, but a taser needed to be used. In addition to that, the officer has to evaluate the situation. Do you really believe with an 11 and a 6-year-old in a car screaming or yelling for their daddy that the father represents harm? In the event that you do, you get him out the car, you cuff him, and that's it. Not tase him and then tase him again and again and again. I could keep going. It was 11 times. times, and then when he's on the ground, you're tasing him some more. And in terms of the unconsciousness, I quite frankly don't see what unconsciousness anybody might be referring to. And so, yeah, there's always two sides of a story. But in this story, the one side I see is that there should have been, as there is, a 1983 claim that's for excessive force in federal court. And I think compensatory damages, that is damages to compensate the person who endured this indignity, will be awarded. I think punitive damages, which are designed to punish the police for this conduct, will be awarded. And I think at the end of the day, it sends a deterrent message. I also think, Elizabeth, that the officer, again, not only should be administratively disciplined, having viewed this, but there should be a criminal investigation. It crosses the line. It shouldn't happen. It didn't need to happen. And you need to let everybody know that this is not the conduct that is acceptable. We need to work with the police. Absolutely. Police also need to work and trust communities as well.
All right, Joey Jackson, thank you so much. Really good points there. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Elizabeth.